Hello. Thanks for agreeing to set up this interview. As you know, we only have a short amount of time, so let's go ahead and get started right away. Now, I know that you've been involved in some work on community issues. Can you tell me what attracted you to the community issue that you chose at the beginning of the semester?
Yeah, sure. That is a great question. So, at the beginning of the semester, I was attracted to the community issue of underage drinking. Now, there were a couple main reasons why I was attracted to this community issue. The first main reason was that as a college student now, I found myself coming face to face with many more situations among my peers dealing with alcohol. And I found it to be a struggle to find ways to leave that situation with being around alcohol. And now, I also had a second main reason as to why I was attracted to underage drinking. Back in high school, I had a past experience with a classmate of mine who ended up at a party. She consumed too much alcohol in a very short amount of time and ended up passing out. She was sent to the hospital and had to have her stomach pumped. If the ambulance had arrived even an hour later than they originally had, she would have most likely died. So I realized that underage drinking is more common than many people would expect. And I wanted to share all of the facts about it with my peers so that they'd be aware of the negative effects that can occur with it and can find ways to overcome peer pressure.
Okay, thank you. Now, your materials also said that you were involved in the community issue team project that focused on a call to action. Can you share with me what call to action your team put forward and why you chose that call to action?
Yeah, so the call to action that my team put forward originally was to ask our classmates as they left small group for the weekend, because we have class on Friday, was to begin spreading awareness of the negative impacts underage drinking can place on anyone's life, and to use or share resistance strategies that we talked about, such as identifying the right decision for you, valuing your own beliefs, and stating your views assertively. To share that with others so that they can overcome peer pressure and to help them have more power to say no to avoid underage drinking.
I see. Now, if I were to ask the other members of your team what they think your biggest strength is, what do you think they would say, and why do you think they would say it?
Okay, good question. So I think my team members would say that my biggest strength would have to be perseverance, because throughout the entire process of creating our entire speech, we encountered some difficulties, but I constantly encouraged us to push through those difficulties so that we could create an effective speech. Sometimes it was dealing with wording issues throughout our speech, maybe some choppy transitions, or it was even just having difficulties finding time for all of us to get together. I provided input as to how we could make some changes throughout our speech, and when we were stumped, I came up with some new ideas as to how we could find time so that we could meet with one another to go through our speech entirely. Throughout the whole process of creating our speech, I never gave up.
Okay, great. What for you was the most challenging thing about working with your team?
Very good question. I would say that the most challenging thing about working with my team was that it was sometimes hard to communicate and the scheduling wasn't always the best. My two team members and we have very different schedules. One of them has classes later at night while the other has classes early in the morning, and I'm kind of in the middle. So sometimes it was challenging to find time and communicate to meet up with one another. We were always busy at different times. It was also challenging to determine how much each person had done on the speech for their sections so that we could put our entire speech together when we did meet up. However, we didn't meet up as much as we would have hoped to, but we did find time to eventually come together to create an entire speech successfully.
Thank you. Okay, last question. In 30 seconds or so, tell me what your biggest takeaway was from Com 110 this semester. What will stick with you and be useful to you?
I really like this question. My biggest takeaway from Com 110 would be to simply listen. And I will be able to take this with me throughout my entire future and into my own career as well. Listening is a skill that allows you to truly learn about something someone else is saying. And it helps you to gain new insights that you otherwise may not have noticed or realized. You obtain new perspectives that can help you in the future. My career path is to become a registered nurse, and listening is a major component. So whether it's listening to my patients when they are describing their symptoms so I don't misdiagnose them, or just listening to their stories, listening is a skill that allows people to make connections and understand one another effectively.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me. We'll probably be in touch with you in the next few weeks or so.
Thank
Take
you
care.
very much.